Hello, good morning. It is December 12th, 2023, although you wouldn't know it for how much sunshine and how warm it has been, although it is pretty cold today. So maybe we're finally getting into some December weather. Anyway, that's a fun intro. Let's talk about the weather here. Sorry about that. Anyway, we are excited to be welcoming you to another Taco Tuesday here at WiLS. And this is actually going to end up being the last Taco Tuesday of the year. So we will be back in January with another big slate of vendor presentations. But today I'm joined by three of our vendors. You can see them here on the screen, and I'd like to get the ball rolling with Amy, who's joining us from AVP. Amy, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over and share yours.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. I am Amy Rudersdorf, and I am a director for consulting services at AVP. I'm going to talk just briefly about one of AVP's low-cost options for consulting. So just really quickly, we are a consulting company, and we make assets easier to find, share, protect, and put to good use when we're talking about digital assets and digital preservation. So digital asset management and digital preservation. This is our website. It's weareavp.com. And you can learn more about our services here. So real briefly, we have 4 categories of services. So planning, selection, activating and optimization, and then exploring, which is prototyping, R&D, things of that nature. I'm going to talk about planning today, and specifically our Digital Preservation Go option, which is a low-cost option for digital preservation consulting. So it's an assessment service based on the Digital Preservation Coalition's rapid assessment model. It's called DPC RAM. And as part of this service, an AVP consultant works with your organization to complete the DPC RAM assessment. We help you score your RAM assessment, and we provide you with recommendations in a professionally designed slide deck so that you know what next steps to take. We provide a roadmap so you know in what order those steps should be taken. And it's a 2-month process. During the first month, the consultant meets with your team for an hour to kick off the project, provide an overview, and answer any logistics questions you might have. Then your team completes a number of surveys based on that DPC RAM, and it's about your organization's digital preservation maturity. In the second month, after the surveys have been completed, the consultant reviews your survey responses and holds a 2-hour Q&A session with you to get fuller details on your responses and answer any questions that you might have. Based on this conversation and your survey responses, we complete that DPC RAM worksheet and draft recommendations and a roadmap, as I mentioned, putting it all together in a professional slide deck that you can use to present to your stakeholders. This service is available in English and Spanish. DPGo costs $4,000, which we hope will work for a variety of organization sizes and budgets. If you're interested in learning more about DPGo, I will drop my email in the chat, and I'll just say it out loud. It's amy@weareavp.com. And that is what I've got, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Amy. When working with Amy and working with AVP, AVP is one of our order direct vendors. So, our relationship is to kind of help get the word out about AVP, but all your kind of interactions and transactions will mainly be directly with the organization. So yeah, Amy's email that's in the chat here will be useful for reaching out, and we'll also include that in follow-up messages that we send out after the session today. If anybody has any questions for Amy before she leaves us, please feel free to drop them into the chat window. Or if you think of something after the fact, I'm sure she'd be delighted to have you reach out directly or reach out to us here at WiLS, and we'll relay your question on.
Absolutely. I'm glad to answer any questions. Does anyone have anything they want to ask about now?
I haven't seen anything come in yet, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, feel free to
Yeah.
follow up with me. I have an easy email address, and I hope to hear from you in the future.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks so much.
I am glad to be joined now by Sherry, coming to us from Mackin. Sherry, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeff. So Mackin does, we're a distributor of print and digital resources for a lot of, probably the majority of schools in Wisconsin in some sort of capacity. So we sell a lot of library books and classroom books. Right now, there's definitely a big push in some curriculum changes throughout the state. So we do have a team that helps align different books with curriculum changes. So that's not what we're focusing on today. I'm just doing a quick mention on it because it's been such a hot topic in the last few weeks as schools are buying resources to support their new curriculums. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just give a quick overview on how to order and how to use some of our tools. One thing I'm going to point out that has been a popular question in the last few months is how to look for publishers specifically of foreign language. So because I'm not sure why all of a sudden I'm getting this question from all over the state, but there must be a reason. So I'm going to answer that too. So when you go to Mackin, if you've never logged in before, you do have to create an account in order to see all of these resources. It's a free account. You just log in with your school email address and password. A lot of schools already have negotiated discounts, a lot of them through WiLS, meaning that by ordering through Mackin, you'll get automatic discounts and that they're already in your Mackin.com account if you log in with your email address. Not necessarily. You'll always still want to reach out and make sure that they're in there, but for sure, log in with your school email address and not your personal. So if you're going to create a list on Mackin, you'll either see a shopping cart or it'll say new list here. And I'm just going to click new list. And you just have to name the list. And then when you choose your description, because we're talking to mostly library staff right now, you'll want to choose the library for circulation. That tells our processing team that you want whatever specs and processing on your library books. Some schools choose not to have them processed. Most of them do choose to have them processed. But what that means is it comes with a barcode label. Basically, you take it out of the box and you can put it right on the shelf and it's good to go. And we are very custom. So we have your specs in our file already, so we know how to do them for your library. Or if we don't have them, our specs team will reach out. But by telling us it's a library order, then we'll know to either ask you if we don't have your specs or to apply the specs that we have. And then when you're searching for books, you can type whatever keyword. I actually usually use keyword all the time, even if I'm looking for a title, author, or an actual keyword, unless I'm looking for something specific. There's this drop down and there's all these different things you can look for. But a call out that I'm going to mention because of all of the different foreign language requests that we've been getting lately is that if you go to Mackin title lists, we have a team of librarians that curate lists for our schools all throughout the country. And if they create a list for a school and they think, oh, this could actually work for someone else, they'll publish it to this area of all the Mackin title lists. So for example, if you were looking for Spanish, I type in Spanish, and then all of these different lists that they've created for others will populate here. So it's just a good starting point. So maybe you're not to the point where you want us to curate your entire list for you. You're just kind of trying to browse. I use this a lot. So these are all titles were created, or title lists that were created for a different school that would make sense for others. So these look like a benchmark dual language immersion curriculum I've been hearing a lot about. So if I click this is bringing me all the grade 2 Spanish titles that are suggested in that curriculum. So it just saves you hours and hours of work if you have us do this for you. Likewise, if you want us to make a special list just for your library, and you go up to library and then you go to library custom list request, you can actually ask us what you're looking for specifically. So if I put for dollar limit, maybe I had, maybe I had $500 to spend in grades 6 through 8 interest level, I could actually go in here and click whatever I'm looking for. So maybe fiction, graphic novels, and then there's this world language part. So basically you're telling us, this is what I need. You're not committing to buying the $500 worth of titles. It's just a starting point. So you can buy all of them. You could buy some of them. You can use it as a starting point. But schools all throughout the country use our library team to do this. And we have some foreign language experts that can help you curate titles in either in any language or any interest area. I'm just mentioning foreign language, but like if you needed graphic novels in Spanish, they would do that for you. But we have a lot of authentic language, and that's hard to find sometimes. So a lot of times there's translated, which has a place in certain ways in the library, but you might want authentic so that your students are like own voices type, so we can help you with all of that. And then I also wanted to mention for specific publishers. So Mackin is an approved vendor for most, if not all, of the districts in Wisconsin. So a lot of times the reason people order from Mackin is because we work with all of these thousands and thousands of publishers, so that you don't have to have all of these small publishers become a vendor for your school district. So that's the ease of working with Mackin. So Lectorum, for example, just came up the other day. So they're a very well-known Spanish publisher, but might not be a vendor for your school. So if there was a certain publisher you were looking for, you could click up at the top where that, I didn't show you what I did. Let me go right back. Right next to that search bar that we were using before, you can click advanced search. And then on this screen, you can go into publisher and you could type in whichever publisher you're looking for. I mentioned Lectorum. So if I click that, then I can just go ahead and search. I can change or search for all of these other things too. I could choose all of these different languages that we have available. I'm leaving it pretty broad right now just to give you an idea though. So if I click search, then I'm going to see all of these different titles that are available from Lectorum. So that way you order them from Mackin. The price is usually not much different because the schools or the publishers give Mackin a bit of a discount. So for you, it ends up being probably pretty similar if you order from the publisher or if you order from us. So that's a really great thing because it makes it very easy for you without spending much extra money. So let me just show you a couple other quick things here. If you go, so I'm changing gears really quickly because I talk fast and I have just a couple extra minutes. So one other thing that is really popular with librarians is if you go and browse titles, there are all of these different items that you can browse, including state book awards, national book awards, things that a lot of librarians use to curate titles to bring into their collection. You can also choose review journals. So if you go down to school library journal, or any journal, I just picked school library journal, it'll open up the latest issue, and then you can choose starred reviews if that's what you're looking for. And it'll pull up all the starred reviews in the most recent issue of School Library Journal. A lot of schools don't subscribe to this anymore, but still use it as a resource. So this is a free way. So you're not seeing the entire publication and all of the articles. You're just seeing the titles that are in it. And it doesn't cost you anything to be able to use this tool on our site. So that's really popular. And then if you scroll down a little bit, it has all of the last year's publications. So if I miss something in April of 2023, I can click that and then it'll show me the titles in that review journal. So that is a lot of information in a little bit of time. We do a lot of one-on-one meetings with schools, so schools or districts, however they like to meet. So if you'd like to schedule a time to meet one-on-one so we can dig into your specific needs, I'm always happy to do that.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Everyone who's watching live or recorded, please do feel free to reach out to us here or reach out to Sherry directly. Sherry, with your permission, will include your contact information and follow-up message out to the members. Do let us know if we can answer any questions or help get you in touch with Mackin.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too, Sherry. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye. All right, I'm going to bring us back to our agenda one more time and introduce, joining us from Project MUSE, Doug Storm. Doug, you are actually our final presenter for today and actually the last Taco Tuesday presenter of the year. So it is a high honor for you, but honestly, the honor's all ours. Thank you so much for joining us, Doug. And if you're ready to take over, I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can have the reins.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Well, I'm assuming everything is working right. It's one of my least capable things to do is manage PowerPoint. But thanks again for having me today. I'm again Doug Storm. I'm the sales manager for the United States and Canada for Project MUSE. Today, I'd like to talk about just some programs we're working on so you can have some information as we go into 2024. And one of the programs is actually in 2025, so a little bit of a runway for that one. So today we're going to talk about S2O, which is Subscribe to Open program, plus our plus journals. I put 2024 book collections in here, but I will not talk about them. I'll just point to them or suggest where you can find out more information about them, and our Latin American books program. So all things that are happening at MUSE that are a little bit new and or a little bit changed. So something to keep in mind as we go forward. Let's see. So first, what is Project MUSE? Probably, I hope many of you know what it is, but basically it's an aggregator platform for journals and books, some digital scholarship as well, that has roughly 85,000 books on it. Let's see. I think about 800 or so journals are now on the platform. This is humanities and social science content. We were founded about 30 years ago with a Mellon grant and have basically the content you can see there of philosophy, politics, music, etc. What you've come to expect from a humanities publisher. First, I'll jump into Subscribe to Open. It's been a long project for us, and it's sort of just now becoming or sort of coming to fruition. We've gotten publishers on board, so we can start to really talk about this program. So I'm going to probably try to do a lot of that here today to help again sort of pave the way for 2025. The program, excuse me, actually will begin in 2025. But there's a lot to do before that. So anyway, so S2O or Subscribe to Open is how we're going to sort of work in the open access space. So the offer here, as you can see, is really about opening access to content that the libraries currently you actually already have if you're a subscriber. And currently pay for it through our one of our journals programs. So let's talk a little bit about what S2O is. Currently, it's just a program that we're going to continue, and you'll continue to get current scholarship in your MUSE journal collection and the archival backfile content as well. So S2O doesn't really interrupt anything as we are working currently. Requires no new investment, as you can see. So the program isn't an additional thing as we go forward into 2025. It's a way in which we open up access and equity across the globe through library partnership. But no new investment, where it's literally just continuing the current path towards subscriptions that we have now. And this, of course, allows authors who often are charged fees to open access to their content. It allows them to have open access content without costing them any money. And hopefully it opens up a wealth of scholarship in disciplines in underserved disciplines in other OA models. Currently, if you're a MUSE subscriber, nothing is really going to change. One of the things that we've talked about internally is like how to talk about this. In general, when the bulk of what's happening is happening on the journal publisher side, they have to make a decision to sort of work in this space and deal with how they operate in getting funds and funding and their royalty fees, et cetera. So a lot of the hard work in this situation goes on with the journal publishers. For us, in this space where we just want to continue to do what we've always done as Project MUSE, and what you do as a library in subscribing to Project MUSE. So we're literally keeping, I mean, nothing changes with this. You continue to have access to the content you have. The collection pricing that we currently offer won't change. The way we offer that pricing won't change. We generally renew at a moderate level of increase. I think this year was 2.5 to 3% at most for most of the collection. The journal collections were moderate, and they will continue to be so. Again, you can continue as you currently do, operating to get your collection through your consortia, through WiLS. You can subscribe through WiLS. You can do it any way that you've been able to do it in the past. Again, no changes, continuing license terms, etc. So it's an interesting thing. It's a very important program with a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. But in this space, we wanted to keep things as even, as stable, and as similar as possible. So generally, as I said already, one of the things that we're doing is just asking you to renew your journal subscription. That's it. Basically, you subscribe to your journal collection through WiLS. You renew for the next year. As a participant in this program, those publishers who have joined the S2O program will open up journals for access. And those journals will be open to the rest of the world as well. But we have to sort of continue with our current program as is. So we have to actually meet a sustaining requirement within the renewal space to open up the program. So I'll talk about that in a second. But generally, what we want is you to continue to renew at the rate you're currently renewing. And as part of that, you will help us open up access to content. If you happen to cancel your subscription, the problem here is that what gets open, or not a problem, but what gets open in this S2O space is current content. So in 2025, open access journals on the platform that are participating will open content for that term, for that year. That content stays open. So successful program gives us content that is open to the world, and that content will stay open. If you were to cancel your subscription, you basically would then just have content to that. if the program is successful, just to the open access content, all the backfile content, all the things that you probably get as much use out of as anything else at MUSE, all that content's going to go away if you cancel your subscription. So to participate means that you just renew your subscription. Now you can see there it says if the offer succeeds. So we'll have to talk a little bit about what that means. As I stressed before, the goal is for you to renew your journal subscription. That will help us succeed. So we have what we're calling a sustainability threshold, which literally just means we have to meet a revenue goal in order to have the program begin. So the revenue goal is a high bar for us. We want to get as much as we can to secure royalties to those publishers. It's not extra money. We don't operate that way as a nonprofit entity. We need to just maintain our operating levels, and we need to hit that threshold. We hit that sustainability threshold to make the journals open access. If we don't hit the threshold, then obviously the content stays gated. The program just will not start that year. We will continue to try to make it work, but the goal would be to open that content as soon as we can in 2025. So there's more about this, and this is a brief, probably too brief, a discussion about S2O, an open access program we're working on. You can find out more online. Obviously, we have participating publishers list. It's growing daily. I think there are over 25 publishers now that have signed on, with something like 75 journal titles that have agreed to open content in 2025. So again, if the program is successful, if we renew our subscriptions, our collections up to that sustainability threshold, then we'll open the content to that many titles and possibly more. We're continuing to add more publishers as we go. So you can find out more. There's a whole FAQ at the website for you to review if you'd like to take a look at more information. Lots of questions answered about, again, licensing, content, things that are necessary on our end of things, but really don't require a whole lot from you to do. And there's also just a brochure if you want to share it with anyone in your library to discuss. And I didn't want to leave this space of open access before saying that we already have quite a few open access books, open access content and open access books in particular on the website. We have over 5,000 fully open access books from 100 publishers. The content is the same, whether it's open access or gated on MUSE. It's got the same quality. It's peer reviewed. The same things that we do with our gated content, you get in open access content like MARC records and discovery integration. So let's then go from there to our 2024 Plus Journals package. This is not a new program. It's a new name. It was called Premium Plus before. We decided the Premium was confusing because you can subscribe to Plus without being a premium subscriber. You can subscribe to Plus without being any kind of collection subscriber. It's just a more like a bundle of hosted titles. So these titles, what we're calling Plus titles, are journal titles on MUSE that are not collected in any of our current collections. So our premium, standard, basic, humanities, research, etc. None of these titles are in those collections. So you might have subscriptions to them individually through the publisher themselves or through Hopkins Press, and they are on MUSE. But this is a way that you can get these in a kind of one-stop shop way. For 2024, there are 77 titles from 38 publishers on in the Plus program. You can download the title list there. This is, again, additional to subscribing to any of the other collections. And I think I have a few. These are just a few from the middle of the really just the middle of the list, or from C to H, as you can see there. But there's a whole list that you can download and find there. So instead of going through to subscribe to individual titles, you can get these 77 titles all at once and get a small discount, 5% off of the list price, or the individual subscription price from the publisher. It's an easy way to sort of get a lot of content that kind of doesn't live anywhere else in a group space like that. So that's our Plus package. You can of course email us, and we can talk more about that. The second, or I guess it's the third thing I want to talk about, but the second real project or new project, the big thing that's happening is our Latin American University Press books. And I'll talk about that as well. Here we've teamed up with university presses in Latin America to begin to offer Spanish language content. It's our goal or plan to also include Portuguese language content on the site. So this is an attempt to or a commitment to equity, inclusion, and diversity in what we can offer to our customers, our library partners. So as you can see there, we've got more than 80 Latin American presses ready to contribute. Currently, there are about 1,000 titles on the website, and we expect to have at least 5,000 to be on the platform by the end of 2024, if not more. We currently we're sort of waiting for production to process around 3,000 already. So it's just about processing them and getting them onto the site. You can buy these any number of ways that we currently sell books. So you can get direct purchase, so you can get buy a single from us. You can also buy single titles through your normal vendor like Agobe or Oasis or Rialto. You can do EBA with this program. You can get a custom collection. You can buy a whole lot. You can just get one. So there's lots of ways to purchase and lots of ways to find this content on the site. It's built into the site already as all the books and journals live together on the site. So if you want to, you can currently go on the site and limit in your facets on the website to I think by language on the main site, to just pull up the Spanish language titles. And I can certainly send you a list of titles as well if you're interested. So I have given just some links here, and I've shared this slide deck with Jeff that he might post as well, so you can find out more information. There's a whole lot to be said about all these programs on our website. And that's it for me. I appreciate the time today. It's great to be with you, but it's also great to be the last of the year, and I appreciate that slot. Again, I'm Doug. I'm the sales manager for the US and Canada at Project MUSE. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Doug, thank you so much for joining us. I haven't seen any questions come in from the live audience, but I'm sure we'll get a lot of views on recordings as well. So we hear anything from those folks, we'll pass them on to you as well. And if you're watching, you can see Doug's email here. I'm sure he wouldn't mind hearing from you directly.
No, please do. Yes. Thanks, Jeff.
So thank you again, Doug, for joining us. Thanks to all of our presenters for joining us, not just today, but all year, as we kind of wind down the calendar year and the Taco Tuesday year. So thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to all of our presenters over the course of these last 6 months. We don't have our next date set yet, but that will be coming soon. We will start promoting another round of Taco Tuesdays, which will start again in January. So stay tuned for those announcements. And everyone have a great afternoon. Bye.